Welcome to this shit of a show and random shit. Sorry, I love saying that. Welcome as we talk about Candice today and what the fuck and how do we all feel about it.
This is Random Nerd. There's a lot that's going on. What do you think, Meg?
It reminds me of, whenever somebody's right about something, they kind of get blown all over the place. And the whole world's mad at them. When Trump, as soon as he's like, oh yeah, I'm going to run for president. And all of a sudden, all of his Democratic friends are like, oh, fuck you. We're going to be a complete dickheads and talk all of this shit about you. That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah. You know what's funny on that is I've done some research on that, and it just so happens to be on vaccines of all topics. But I did some research that society in general loves drawing a blank here, loves consistency. So anytime something breaks away from that, chaos erupts.
Literally. So we'll bring it back a little bit to Candice Owens, but the first time I saw Candice Owens, the first thing that I remember her doing was when she showed up to Congress. Do you remember this?
Oh, it's been a while. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that was her
I remember that.
Her first big, real debut into the conservative world. And all she was a concerned citizen. That's all she was. And I believe Charlie Kirk made her into what she is today. Which, it could be a bad, horrible thing. I could be totally wrong about Candice. She could be evil and paid by Israel or whoever. Did you actually hear she's getting sued for slander from another country?
It would not surprise me. For those listening, if you go on YouTube and you hit the algorithm just right, it'll literally give you the answers. I cannot tell you how many videos did I send you, Meg? What, 20 it seems like?
Oh my God.
A lot.
I don't even know. At least quite a few. Right. And my brain is all about the CIA and Israel and
right.
all of it. I am so drowned in this information, and I feel like me and you have uncovered quite a lot,
yes.
Especially over the past couple of weeks. But you know who is doing it first?
Candice
is doing it first. You said that so sadly.
Well, I say that because, well, here's the other thing is, for anyone listening, for me, Candice was in a sense, a breath of fresh air because you hear all of these guy commentaries. You got the Young Turks, you got Ben Shapiro, you've got even the liberal news outlets and the commentary. You've got all of these different big boys that have already been established. They're got followers. They've got they're very knowledgeable, and then you get Candice Owens coming in and sitting in hearings in the U.S. Congress, and it's like, who is this woman? And Bones speaking very very professional, very versed in her knowledge, and she just lays it out in front of Congress as it should be. As citizens of the United States, this is how it should be, that we should be questioning our representatives. But anyway, she was like just a breath of fresh air. And as she progressed in her own commentary, and through her experience with the Daily Wire, through her um, colleagues, Ben, Charlie, and everybody on the staff there. And then, unfortunately, when she was outed, whether on her own or through bad blood from the Daily Wire, she kind of went rogue a little bit. I'm not saying that's good or bad. I kind of lost taste with some of her claims, whether they're true or she does bring receipts, but she has gone rogue in such a way that it's kind of like Meg and I, that we have our own theories, and while we do the research, we don't really share it publicly that Candace does. Again, I'm not
I
saying
mean,
it's
I
good or
totally
bad.
do.
I'm just saying that is what Candace does.
Yeah. I mean, like, I personally, I like to be right and right first, which, might make me a little conceited. Sorry, not sorry, because a good amount of the time I am right because I've been doing this kind of research and this kind of material, this kind of, whether it's politics, conspiracy, all of that. Like, I have been doing it for such a long time that I trust my gut, and my gut is usually right. So if I stick to that, I got no complaints. Like,
No, correct. And so, listeners out there, I shared this with Meg a few days ago, but I came across a video on YouTube. This was years ago, um, where it was about the incandescent light bulb. And it was a nice little history lesson. And it was a conglomerate of light bulb businessmen and like your top executives, CEOs of all the top light bulb businessmen at the time. And they came together in some secret meeting and said, "Oh, we're just going to tweak the material so that instead of you having a good light bulb, we'll just tweak it where you have to replace it, essentially creating a business to them for them. And who pays for it? We do." So after that moment, after that video, everything went out the door for me. I don't trust a damn thing that any of these businesses say, or and really that was my nail in the coffin before. Uh, Nothing of the U.S. government that I trust. So that was one of the, I'm going to say the first. That was the first of several nail in the coffins for me to do my own research.
right. And it's hard because people, like, they don't know where to start, and then especially on some of the tougher topics,
Yeah.
especially people who don't realize that they're you know hide certain things, like you need to word things correctly so that Google and other things like that for you. And even then it's still hard because they try to hide all of the shit that they're doing. And I believe you said you use Brave, right?
Yes.
To do your research?
So
Yeah.
yes. So one of the things that I use non-monopoly type browsers, whether it's Brave, DuckDuckGo, or even Opera browsers, and even search engines. And I say that because if you go to Google, if you go to Chrome, if you even not Firefox, even if you go to Firefox, Firefox has its own privacy, but I feel like it's in the top three. So there, my my top three are Google Chrome, Microsoft Edge, and then of course Mozilla Firefox. I still love Mozilla Firefox, but it's in the top conglomerate of browsers that
Right.
are questionable. Google biased already, Microsoft biased. So I want to get, I'm going to try and bias article or news outlets, but if I can filter it down some, it'll give me a starting point. So for me at least, Brave, DuckDuckGo, and Opera browsers, and then I just go from there. Eh,
Exactly.
so one of the things that I've
And
now go ahead.
um, now it's also hard because with finding certain information, you need to know exactly where to look, and not all places are going to have it. I know, like one of your top places right now, especially for like history and everything, is YouTube, which is a great place to start because honestly, before YouTube started hiding shit, they were phenomenal for their conspiracy theories and their history, and anything you wanted to find out. I feel like you could get it on you.
Yes, I still find YouTube very like it is. Besides my own thinking, of course, besides my own brain, YouTube is my second best friend for online research.
Right. um
So
but right now
what
my biggest place is Rumble.
Rumble is also
But
good.
go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask what resources do you use? Rumble, of course, but what else?
I use Rumble and I use Telegram. Telegram's a good one. It's hard with Telegram though because there's so many like bot accounts and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's a Debbie Downer there. But again, it's the joy
It's a lot
of
easier.
yeah, and and listeners, that's part of the joy of doing all of this research. Yes, bums, it is time consuming, but once you start building your brain power, it can be very liberating. One, I find it liberating. But then two, I get a thrill out of it because again, I'm not, if you haven't heard our first episode, I enjoy history. I enjoy diving to not necessarily the creation of things, but diving to the origin of where things began, such as a lot of our language comes from Latin, comes from Greece, comes from Roman times. Um,
Right.
so just history in general. So, for instance, with the state of Israel, well, I am a Christian man, so my history dives into not just the geography and the populace, but also into the religious history of the Jewish people. So it goes hand in hand with what is your passion? My passion is history, and I just go from there.
Right. My passion would probably be unknown knowledge. Like
No,
just the
yeah,
not popular. That's me. That I find interesting. I think it's interesting how people think.
yes, and oh, hold on, you there? Things
froze. Gotta love StreamYard. Oh, is it picking me up now? I think I just lost Random Nerd now.
Issues.
Oh, there we go. There you
There we
are.
go.
Right? Of course. I was like, my phone froze. Crap. But
No worries.
anyway,
No worries.
what were we saying?
Unknown,
Well,
forgotten history, unknown knowledge.
yes. And that has always been my like forte. And I love talking to people. I love picking different people's, perspectives. I like to hear how different people think, and I want to know why you think these certain ways. And there's so many people that just want to put out their own opinion but don't really care to get like anything back towards them, and that I'm like, that's kind of selfish in my opinion.
Right.
Like you just want
So,
to go out and say whatever you want, and then like these people about Charlie Kirk and how they celebrated his death.
right. I mean,
They felt
if we go to the bare bone basics of it, a human life was brutally taken away. A human life.
exactly,
Forget
and like
politics. Forget politics. Forget religion for a moment. A human life was brutally and publicly taken from us.
exactly, and like and as we spoke a bit on our last podcast about like the conspiracies and like how that shit was like actually pissing me off.
Yes.
Well, I've been deep diving because I'm like, these people got something. They want to talk at least, and it's not fair for me being a conspiracy theorist and a proud rabbit hole hunter, to basically turn who I might not agree fully, but maybe I haven't seen all of it.
Correct. I wanted to share this for anyone that's listening. On my Beacons website, criticalthinkingnerd.com, I have a critical thinking workbook that you can do on your own. And it dives into everything that we discussed, including my own podcast. Take a look over it. It's for your own knowledge and understanding. You don't have to, you can share it with others. Um, you can do it for yourself. I share it with you, one, for you to dive into something that you're passionate about, but then two, to look up opposing views uh, of your own, such as, I mean, initially I was all for Candace, and then, uh, like I said, she went rogue with her own side of things, and not saying that it's right or wrong. I'm just saying she went rogue from where she was. I didn't fully agree with things she was saying, and you know what? That's my decision to make. But
Exactly.
she went with a different path. So this workbook allows you to do the same, but for yourself. And I would highly, highly, highly recommend you uh, uh, go to my website, and it's only $10, but it can definitely be another outlet for you to share your thoughts. You don't have to share it with anybody. You can do it for yourself. You can you can do it for yourself and share it with others, however you want to.
You
But the
you can
whole
always
purpose.
share it with me because I love that shit.
Oh yeah, right. So,
Definitely. And quick shout out, real quick. If you're watching, because I see quite a few of you on all of my platforms watching, if you can just hit that like button. I know it's really like annoying to like videos. I even hate liking videos, but it actually does help me out. So if you can hit the like button, really appreciate that. And back to you, random nerd.
sure, sure. And actually, we're a bit overdue, but in about 20 seconds, we're going to take a 20-second moment of silence for Charlie Kirk. One, 10, 8, 7. So the idea is 20-minute mark was when we were shot, so 20 minutes in for 20 seconds. 20. And we're back. Thank you very much, listeners. So um, we're doing this podcast one to share with you. We're not doing this as the phrase goes, conspiracy theories. No, and even then, that was a made up term by none other than the United States CIA to turn away questions. Journalists at the time, and actually I had to review some of the notes. It was during the Vietnam War. There were journalists that were starting to ask some deep questions, and the CIA started putting out their own disparaging theories, and those that questioned were called conspiracy theories. So anytime you hear the label conspiracy theory, just know that it came from our own Central Intelligence Agency.
Yeah. Because, we need a tinfoil hat crazy person to figure out the actual truth in here.
Exactly, and all of this is asking questions. We're not here to. I mean, we have our own theories. We do share some skepticism and our own speculation, but that's our own. We want to share with you facts. We want to
Right.
share with you, well, and this being our second episode, where each of us is, we're kind of building this from scratch. So, um, if you want to help us out, we have donation links for each other. Meg, you have Cash App, and it looks like Venmo. I've
Yep.
got Ko-fi, and I do have my own Cash App link in our websites. So if you want to help us build this podcast, share your generosity. We're not there's no paywall to this. There's no
Nothing.
subscriptions. I have several membership items for download, but all of this, even my own podcast, criticalthinkingnerd.com, is completely free. And we do this
Just
as a
like it
hobby.
is for everyone else. Critical thinking is free.
It is. It is. And it's using your own brain. That's all it is. It's
Right.
using your brain. It's using the human mind. And what I've done, the 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 connecting the dots is the phrase. Connecting the dots is very enlightening, is very insightful. So
It is.
um, on top of that, and please, 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 listeners, use this with discernment. I do utilize AI chats, but I only utilize them to connect
Boo. I'm
to
just
connect
kidding.
dots. No, I get that. I get that. I beg of you, do not use it to cheat your way through emails or to write. Use your brain. We have it. AI is there to help us ethically. That does not mean to use it to cheat through life.
Right. Absolutely. And like it literally dumbs you down. But so
It does.
I'm gonna go back to Candice because I feel like we haven't really
Yes,
touched
go
on
ahead.
it. So like my biggest thing with Candice is they're out saying that, oh, she hasn't been at a, turning point event in years. We haven't seen her. They haven't been friends. But yet she was there last year. She's still on their website as a, person with their, company. And multiple times that I know of, he stood up for Candice to be at these certain events. So to have it all of a sudden, oh, they weren't really that great of friends, like I can't back that. Like, and the pictures that Candice and Charlie Kirk on both of their accounts of each other that they have, they don't look just like coworkers. They don't look just like, the casual hangout because they, believe the same things. Like they look like very close friends. I also feel like the
I
things
agree
that
with that.
she's digging up on Israel. And as you sent me the video of Charlie Kirk, who is starting to, he's like, I got to be real careful about what I say here. And why is that? Because he knows how they treat Candice. So, like, and if they're as close as they seem to be, he would absolutely know what rabbit hole Candice is going down,
Yes.
So,
And here's the other
and
thing about Israel, real quick. So I sent you another video. I think it's part of the same video. But those listening, so Charlie has gone to Israel. He shared it. If you look through the X's videos of his previous interviews that he's done, his previous collaborations he's done, one of them was over how Israel is a fortress. I wouldn't necessarily say
yep,
it's China level, but it is a fortress and is surveilled, is what he said. And apparently, I'll just say it straight out, I don't give a fuck. Apparently, there has been a growing unrest to a near civil Israeli civil war. And what he disclosed is what just recently, um, Bibi, or I like to use full names, Benjamin Netanyahu has consolidated power to where just overnight, from what Charlie was saying, everything was stopped. So he asked the question, or Charlie asked the question, was there a stand down? Because they're just apparently overnight, uh, Israeli government just steamrolled everything. So that begs the question, is Candace right with all of this?
I mean, to me, she hasn't been proved wrong. That's
Right.
my biggest thing is that, like, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, she's getting sued for defamation from somebody out of the country, which I don't even know how that's gonna fucking work. But she was also another person who's getting really hit by this also is Tucker Carlson, who has come out and spoken with Candice on some of these top you know
Yes.
big theories of things.
Yes.
But like, Israel has a part in our governments, and that makes me mad. That made Charlie mad that should make the rest of you mad, because we should be America first. Which also
Right.
brings me to why I believe Charlie was murdered or assassinated or whatever you want to call it, why it happened. I believe it's to pass the bill underneath his name, which is all about propaganda. And here's the thing, the Democrats are going to see this bill and be like, yes, we need to get rid of propaganda and get rid of, and so truth matters, blah, 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 blah. Then when the Republicans actually look at the bill, because the Democrats don't like to do that, and we see all of the filler shit that they try to throw in there, like they always do, and we decide not to, sign it, the Democrats are going to flip it and be like, see, he wasn't even that good of a person because the Republicans wouldn't even sign his bill. It is going to be a flip-floppy, another thing to divide us. And the people who are like, we should sign this bill because of Charlie Kirk, and that's the only reason, are going to be divided from the people who are like, yeah, I actually read that and it's full of fucking shit. And even Charlie himself would not support that. And mind you, this bill has not been written yet. I just like to be right before anybody else. But that's what it's looking to me. Like, it really is looking like it's to pass these bills because that will give them more ways to surveillance us. We already had laws pushed because of 9/11 that we wouldn't have agreed to if 9/11 hadn't happened. Like, and I feel like this is just going to bring people to surrender more rights. Like, we know that the CIA friggin' surveils us. We know that they don't give a fuck about our rights. Why would they give a fuck about Charlie's bill?
Several videos I sent you for listeners out there. I want to give you a moment, and then Meg, if you want to answer, listeners, who do you think is the puppet master with all of this? You know,
Who is
the U.S. Congress is corrupt and paid and bought for. You know they are compromised. They're another puppet. You know that the CIA, the United States CIA, is bought and paid for. They are compromised. They're just another puppet. So I'm asking you, who is the puppet master? Who's the puppet master?
Right.
Who's the one that's pulling all the strings? Meg, how many videos did I send you about that?
Oh my gosh.
Several, right?
I don't even know. Because it's all like, because I like when Ham and I just like literally like back to back or was watching like all of them. So my brain is so filled that it's like one whole movie that I've spent watching, but it was like days of receipts. And it honestly, like, it begs to differ to me because it's a hard question to answer, because is it one singular person? I don't think so. I don't think that it's one person rules us all. Like, I don't think that there's some more powerful, like the most powerful person. I think it's a group of people. And I believe this is going to fucking blow your hat off your head. But I believe that we are controlled by the elites that also happen to be fallen angels. That's a whole fucking rabbit hole. And if you know that rabbit hole, please call me, because I've been finding nobody on the same page as me with that. Like, shit is crazy.
Yes. So the quick answer is the puppet master is Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israel Prime Minister. Just type it into YouTube, let the algorithm do its work.
That's true.
and
That's very true.
and and the Israeli intelligence Mossad. They do his dirty work.
Right, and they absolutely do, and they have for fuck ever.
Also, for any listeners, type in AIPAC, APAC, the
Yeah,
American Israeli Partnership. It's a treaty. It's a not a treaty. It is a partnership between. I say partnership. It is a partnership between the U.S. and Israel. Technically, even Israel is a foreign country, but they are quote unquote, and this was coming from Candace. I kid you not.
yeah.
They are an exception. Any other foreign lobbyists have to register as a foreign entity, but not Israel. So if there's anything that I would advocate for, that I would ask of you, request, I cannot tell you, I'm not going to tell you, I will advocate for the US removal of APAC and for all congressional members to be investigated for who they receive donations from.
No, I think that's totally fair. Especially since we've had presidents literally receive so much random shit from other people in other countries to do shit for that they say in our fucking country. Like, I'm sorry, no. Absolutely not. Hard pass. I would much rather see exactly who is one benefiting, two who is donating, and why are they donating? Like, if you just want to donate to help the cause, I feel like there should be a way to just be like helping the cause, but only in a certain amount. Like, you can't just
Right.
anonymously be like, here's $80,000 from an anonymous person. Like, no,
No,
that shit needs to
it's
be known.
exactly, and especially to Congress members. So anyone that's listening, I don't, I'm sorry, I don't see the analytics on my side, but for anyone that's listening, if you go to my podcast, so my main um, podcast is on Podbean app. Um, the episode U.S. Congress and Oligarchy. If you just listen, or even if you just look up opensecrets.com, it shows what Congress members receive donations from whom. They are the United States Congress is a working oligarchy under the guise of campaign donations, under the guise of quote unquote, their words, democracy. It is supposed to be representatives of the people, that they are a
Right.
working oligarchy.
Jeez. Sorry. It's mind boggling. It's mind boggling. Like,
It is, and so my next advocacy would not just investigations, but I mean pretty much all of Congress at this point is guilty of. I wouldn't go as far as treason. There are some treasonous levels, but I would go as far as violating their oath of office, because they're
oh,
supposed to
absolutely.
be, per the U.S. Constitution, they're supposed to be representatives of the people. But they are bought and paid for by big
Right.
pharma. They're bought and paid for by foreign lobbyists. They are bought and paid for by each other. I mean, this isn't this. I want to be very clear on it. This is not conspiracy theories here. These are factual, publicly known information, people. It's right
Right.
there. All you have to do is get on the internet and look it up. And if we
Just
if we can share this
start with the
information with
CIA
you,
and you'll lose your
yeah.
mind.
Oh, the CIA. I mean, yeah. That's what this podcast is about. Because CIA in general, it's just okay. I will make this one clear um this anyway. I want the CIA to be completely dismantled
Oh, completely.
and everyone involved prosecuted. I don't care at what level. If you're just a new hire several years and you don't know anything, there may be some exceptions. But if you have some level of intelligence or your what am I trying to say? If your work level is involved with some form of intelligence work, prosecution,
It's corrupted.
because
You
it's
did.
corrupt. And I say that I don't say that lightly. From the very beginning, and while it was rocket scientists, CIA, the United States Central Intelligence Agency, recruited Nazi scientists. Don't get me wrong, there's
Like,
some great innovation has come from them of
and
US owned research. But you cannot tell me that they are any morally superior. They have toppled. Um I've been watching videos and all of this is true. They have toppled democratic uh foreign country governments for the supposed interests of the US. That is not the American way.
right, exactly. Like, and it kind of brings me back a little bit to Candice Owens. So, one thing that she also gets hate for, but Charlie Kirk doesn't, which really makes me mad, but is she's really good friends with Kanye West. And she gets so much hate for that. So much hate because of what he says about the Holocaust, which me and you, we've been going down that rabbit hole slowly but surely.
Yes.
And the shit with Hitler and all of that.
Yeah.
And she,
Again, people, we stand for the people. We want to
right,
be very clear on that. We stand for the people, whether it's the
exactly.
people of Israel, the people of Saudi Arabia. We stand for the people. That includes you and me here in the United States of America. We stand for the people.
Right. But with Kanye West, she got so much. That's when I feel like it really started to kind of spiral for her, was because she was backing up Kanye West. But
Yes.
so was Charlie Kirk. So was Charlie Kirk, but nobody remembers that. Nobody remembers that when he was hanging out with Candace and Kanye West, and nobody's going to call him out for hanging out with them. Which is why I think that Candace has such a good eye, like, for the things that she does, that she gets the people's attention and
She does.
pisses
She
off
does.
the right people. And I think with what she's been bringing to light and what she has been talking about, more and more people, they aren't just going to be like, oh, Candace is crazy, whatever. They're going to try and find what she's finding, because we are the party, not of bitches and complainers, but of researchers and critical thinkers. Like, this is what we're good at. So, like, all of these conservatives that are coming out against Candace literally reminds me about how safe and effective the vaccine is. Do you remember when all of those news were saying the
Who
same
does that?
thing?
Oh my goodness.
That's what I'm
Oh,
thinking
oh,
about.
right. Um, Oh, I have just started seeing posts. I think maybe Benny Johnson on X or one of the conservatives on X are coming out with uh, verified medical studies that the mRNA vaccine is causing deaths. I forget who it was.
Oh yeah.
Causing deaths. And I mean, I don't know. I took it just for my own, not even health, but for my own employment status. Since at the time, it's not. It's a non-issue for me. You know, I've done my research. You can hate me all you want. I don't care. Uh, but for uh, but for I want to be very clear on this. The pandemic itself, at its core, was a medical issue. Was a global medical issue.
Right.
Unfortunately, in a very very unfortunate timing of things, it was politicalized,
Right.
and that's what has caused so much division. If you want to get to the very core of
Absolutely.
things, if you politicalize something, you're the problem.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, we're just human beings. And if you can't see that, then what are you? If you're not a human being, then what are you? So I
I
want to
mean,
be
I'd
very
love
clear
to
on
be a
that.
cat, but I'll never be.
Right.
I just want to lounge around, lay in one of my little like bed hammock things. Like I'm so down for that. But no, we can't get that. We can't be what we're not. We're all humans. We all have a brain. We all have hearts. We all have, well, some of us have fingers. Um, that wasn't to discriminate, just so you know. We like all of our people with whatever limbs you have.
Another thing, we also have some dark sense of humor. So anyone who gets offended, fuck off.
Especially me. It's me. I will be it's fine. I'm
We're here
used
to
to it
have
by
fun,
now.
people. I know. We're here to
Like,
have fun.
listen, the reason why some conservatives hate me on the TikToking world is because I ate watermelon while asking questions about racism.
Mm.
So that's why they hate me. So whatever.
Uh,
It was a beautiful day and the watermelon was delicious. Get over it, people. Anyway, that's so old.
so
Yeah,
what
the
do you
thing,
think
the things
is
they do.
so what do you think Erica's going to talk over on this podcast this next week? I mean, the this Alex
Oh,
person has said it's going to be over everything, but I mean, Candace brought it up. You
um,
know,
she did. And honestly, like I'm hoping for the best for it, but I also like I think she's bare minimum because I mean, I love Charlie Kirk. I do. I think that he was phenomenal on his facts, on his debating skills. But when it came down to the conspiracies of the world, that was Candace Owens. That wasn't
I
Charlie
get
Kirk.
that.
That was not
I
him.
get yeah.
So, like, to have his wife try to come out about these things, like, and I don't know much about his wife. Like I've seen her when she was on the show when they first got engaged. I have, seen little videos here and there, but like, where does she lie on that? Because if she comes on and she's just like, every conspiracy is just a conspiracy, you're all crazy, and Candace, shut up. Like, I'm gonna be like, okay, so who paid you? Like,
Right,
and that,
right.
like, that's where my mind is gonna go. And it's nothing like against her, but like, you know, that wasn't his forte. How do we know if it's hers? The going down
Correct.
rabbit hole, that's Candice Owens' thing. That's been her thing on facts, religion, on conspiracies. Like that's her domain. So, but if she comes out and she in this interview talks about a couple of things, like some of them are completely outrageous, like he had a blood bag and the blood came out of his shirt, not his neck. Like there are some like completely crazy things out there that are being
Right.
said. So I feel like she'll address some of those, but like I have a feeling that she's not going to address Candice Owens, which I think is what
And
everybody really wants to know.
yes, and for those listening, just watch it. Don't make any conclusions, please. Just watch it. Listen to what Erica shares. Here's my thinking that if Erica just gives us surface level information, that is her right to. She has, while the questions may be personal or deep, she has no other reason to share other than what she wants to share. So
Exactly.
do not make conclusions based on every nitpick word she says. No. Remember, she is a mourning widow. She is grieving. She still has a family. She still has two young children to take care of. And please remember that. And all of this is within weeks of Charlie being murdered. Please remember that she is still a human being. So just
Right.
listen. If you're going to listen and watch the interview, please just watch. You know, dissect it on your own time. And I would even go as far to emphasize: do not share unless you want to, unless it's part of your unless it is part of your own podcast. Please keep your own conclusions to yourself. Erica is going through enough already. And while Candace has made her own claims, I feel you'll be fueling the fire with Candace if you start nitpicking everything Erica says. I'm sorry, that is my thought process.
And I agree with you, but I also the conspiracy side of me and a
Right.
good amount of my following. We are the nitpickers. We're gonna pick through everything that she says because we look for the hidden signs, the hidden messages. Like one of the things that I can't not say isn't fucking weird is Cash Patel and saying I'll see you in Valhalla. Why the fuck did he say that?
All of the three-letter agencies are bought and paid for by none other than Israel. Just plain and simple.
Right.
If she brings up Israel, by all means, dive into that because at this time I'm just my own discernment. I am for the people. At the same time, I am questioning the. Oh, on top of that, so I'm very into Tucker Carlson, and I say this because he is the only known U.S. even independent or network journalist who has interviewed Vladimir Putin of Russia. So anyway, he sat down with Texas Representative Ted Cruz, and Tucker asked Cruz, should the U.S. support the Israeli government? Cruz rebutted and said, yes, we support Israel. Notice the difference.
Mm-hmm.
So it just tells you who's already in the pockets. This isn't rocket science, people. It is out in the open. It is out in the open,
Right.
and we are letting it continue. We are letting it continue.
And why?
So
Like my
here's
my thing is why? Why do they have so much power over us? Israel, that literally needs us to fight its battle for it. Like, how does it have such a stronghold over the US? That's my biggest problem. And if it's just because we're worried about hurting Jews' feelings, that's a fucking problem, in my opinion.
that's 80 years. I mean, technically, yeah, the bombings. Remember the
It,
Holocaust.
It's
Remember the
like saying
Holocaust.
that we can't talk about how bad slavery is because it might offend some black people. Like, that's a fucking problem. That's a problem of free speech. That's a problem with our society, and that's a problem with critical thinking. Like, we're just gonna let them
We
have
have
this power over us.
right. We have as a society, we have affirmed and we have enabled and we are allowing the victim mentality to overrun us as a society. The
Exactly.
victim mentality is what is running the country right now. As you can see with Jimmy Kimmel. Woe is me, so sympathize with me. No, actions have consequences. Free speech, violence. We are saying some controversial shit, but we're
You know
not.
what?
Go
I
ahead.
said the other day that he should have gotten fired a long time ago, but especially for his comments. And I was just saying this to a friend of mine. And if you're watching, please comment and be like, "Yeah, she told me that the other day." But literally, I was just talking about this the other day that he should have gotten fired when he said that vaccinated people should or unvaccinated shouldn't get help in the hospitals, just left to die. That's when he should have gotten fired. So I feel like, and also his ratings were plummeting. So, like, I feel like they just used it as an excuse to fire him for something controversial. Like, because he had already said so many damning things in the past couple of years that should have gotten him fired. Not just, and mind you, I feel like his comment with Charlie Kirk was definitely a low blow, but I think what he said about unvaccinated people just being left to die in hospitals, like sorry, boo hoo, that was way worse than what he said about Charlie Kirk.
And to finish this off, so everything in life is it's a natural way of things. It is the natural way of living. Vaccines, they were discovered, developed to help combat against diseases. They're not the cure. It's just a biological combative against these diseases. They're not the cure. Yes, U.S. has at one point eradicated measles only because of herd immunity. That does not mean that we have cured it. So when
Right.
you think of all of these, when you think of all of what's going on, the only reason why it's controversial, why there's debates and arguments, and unfortunately even violence, is because everything is politicalized. So when you dive through these things, take politics out of it and just see it for what it is. And I leave it with that.
Right, exactly. And as I've been saying for a while, don't be a vaxhole, okay? You can take your vaxes. Don't be pushing them on me. Or children. Like, honestly. Like, also to bring up facts because so many people have been talking about it still, but a lot of the deaths have come out about that. And also Donald Trump put on Truth Social about how all vaccinations are poison, which I'm not going to lie, it kind of pissed me off, Trump. Kind of pissed me off because I'm with you. I think that technically a vaccine, whether it does what it says, it's a substance that we don't put in our bodies. It is a way of a poison. Whether it kills a disease or not, I believe it's a poison. I believe it's something that doesn't belong in our body, or it would already be there. Now, then Trump went on live television saying, oh, well, some are good and some are bad. Well, don't post on Truth Social that all vaccines are poison. Like, I'm sorry, you shouldn't post that. Like, and I've been really critical of Trump, and that's a lot of reasons why Candice has also been getting so much hate, is because she's been criticizing him for the shit that he's been saying. Like, she's been really on him about the whole thing about, are we still talking about Epstein? And to me, I think we talked about this. Did I tell you my feelings on this matter?
We've touched on it. Go ahead.
So my feelings with that whole really talking about it and listening to it several times over and over again, it felt like it was more of an observation of, oh, people are still talking about this. It's been 10 years. People are still asking questions about this. Like, I feel like it was more of a, like, observation of, yeah, people are still fucking talking about it. Like, not as in, like, you shouldn't. But I believe he also likes to use the media in that way. Like, let me say this, and they're going to flip it to a complete negative when it wasn't actually that.
I kid you not.
But at the same time,
I kid you not. I just came across, I'm in the middle of it, but I just came across the history of Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh my God.
I'm going to send you it after, but yes. And it is very telling. It is very telling of his backstory.
Well, like, fun fact, this is my little conspiracy, but I think he didn't just buy the island. I think he was grandfathered the island. I think that the original Epstein was Ghislaine Maxwell's father. What is it, Robert? I think Robert Maxwell, I believe is his name. If I'm wrong, fact check me. I don't care.
No. I'm going to tell you right now, you're spot on, because I will send you the link right after it, and you're going to connect the dots like no tomorrow.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, Ghislaine Maxwell, I feel like she really had the power, and Epstein was just the face. And then continued with his connections through Robert.
Yes. So, listeners, when you go out there, always keep an open mind. Remember, all of what we share is just our own research. We emphasize, I'm telling you bluntly, go research for your own knowledge and understanding. Go and do the research. Just, you can use Google. You can use Google. I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying have a critical thinking about it. Use critical um, questions. And even here, so this is part of my workbook. This is part of my podcast. Use what is and how does. That's it. What is, to start off, like what is Jeffrey Epstein? Who is Jeffrey Epstein? And then just
how did he get so much money so quickly?
Exactly. You can use and use biased information, but then start asking questions about it. I always use all sides bias, all biased media to get a balance of what sources I, uh, I'm sorry, trying to get my thoughts together. I use all media bias to see what sources are biased. I do try to maintain unbiased sources, but then, we shared in the beginning, I also use Brave, I use Opera, I use DuckDuckGo. One, privacy, but then two, they are more or less private companies and not influenced uh, by big investors like Google.
Right.
So
Mm,
please research for yourself and just that's all I can really say is just do the research. The answers
right.
are already there. We just have to uncover them. They've been buried for decades. We just have to uncover them. And I'm not saying that Candace is a good source. She's an amazing source. Please use discernment with what she says. Not everything she says is true. And it's just like what Elon Musk said in the beginning when he was still at the White House, that he's not an expert. None of us are. Meg and I, we're amateurs.
Right.
Not everything we say is true. So we share, please educate us, send us. If you see something that is more factual than what we shared here on the podcast, share it with us so that we can learn as well. Again, this is a history class. This is a history lesson with everyone.
Right.
So history, and Meg, you keep telling me, history is simply his story. It's a story
Right.
of the winners.
Right. Exactly.
And I will end
And
it with this for me that I stand for we the people. Where do you stand?
I stand right above the rabbit hole,
Yeah.
right above it to kick everybody down it. No, seriously, I stand for the people. I think at least my people on here that know me by now, like I tell it how it is. I, you know, you can believe me, you cannot believe me. You can go and do your own research and come to the same conclusions or come to a different one. And I'm still going to be here for you. I'm still going to be your friend. I'm still going to be your friendly neighborhood conspiracy theorist doing whatever we do. um, but, we'll be here. We'll
We'll
be
be
here for
here.
you.
And as this podcast grows, we might get opportunities to bring on guests. Um, we need your
More and
help,
more.
though.
Oh, yeah.
We need your help on
Hey,
that. Yes.
and if you are just checking out me and the Random Nerd Show, which I love this. It's so much fun. But if you go on to, my Rumble and you really look into the things that I have done in the past, I have had some big, big people on my show that everybody freaking watches. From conspiracy to just political. One of the most recent I think that I had on was freaking now I'm drawing a blank, but everybody's gonna know who it is. Oh, the older millennial. The older millennial
Mm,
had him
yes.
on here. I've had the Black Republican on here many a times. Like, feel free, go back through because a lot of this stuff I have kind of touched on, and maybe you'll, open your mind a little bit more, and we'll see how this goes. But I think
Uh,
that's all for tonight.
Yeah. One other thing. So I have an episode on call to action.
Mm,
I kid you not. I got 14 downloads just yesterday uh, for a small podcaster. That is a big, big jump for me. So thank you to
right?
anyone who listened to that. And then also criticalthinkingnerd.com. I'll be switching. I have a Spotify account that'll be shutting down because everything will be on Podbean app. But I share societal topics and help us help you. We're doing this because it's a hobby for us. We want to build. I want to build a community, a society of critical thinkers. And I think, Meg, you can agree with me on this. We want to revitalize and inform society.
I just like talking out my ass. No, I'm kidding. I just like talking to people. That's what really brings me here is I like talking to different people. That's why I've literally had like somebody from every state in the US on my podcasts to talk about different hard subjects because I find it fun. I like to understand how people think. So maybe instead of Meg opinionated, I should be Meg the thinker. I don't know. Maybe I'll change it. Well, that
Well,
is
thank
all
you
for
again,
tonight.
and until next time.
Yeah, we'll see you next week, I think. Maybe. I think.